Okay, so what if Naruto had ice release? We left off at Naruto and Sasuke's fight. So their fight continues. So both of them getting ready in their stances. With this happening, Sasuke would proceed to arrest Naruto, but Naruto was already expecting this. So Naruto covers his whole body in ice. As Sasuke goes to punch it, his hand would literally, how can I put this? So his hand would basically proceed to to be get crushed by Naruto's skin because of the ice. And with this happening, Sasuke's basically like yelling in pain. And so basically, mind you, there were people watching this and they were like, Naruto beat Sasuke again? And but Sasuke didn't was not expecting this either. He was like, I trained with Big Brother Itachi. Like, bro, how is he so strong? So with this happening, their fight basically ends off of that. And then after that, right? So Naruto would proceed to walk to the what's it called? To the library. To the ninjutsu library. And so basically, right? But before he could even get there, Sasuke will say, I won't lose to you ever again. I promise, Naruto. But with Naruto just smiling, saying, yeah, sure. So Naruto proceeds to go on to the library, right? So he picks up a few scrolls and everything. And then Hiruzen watching through his crystal ball would see this. Hiruzen would see this and he'd be intrigued by this. So he's curious. He sends out just some humble members to see what Naruto's up to, but they don't attack him or anything or disturb him. They basically just watch in the shadows and they're basically just observing Naruto. And meanwhile, Naruto's trying to like. Meanwhile, Naruto's trying to. How can I put this? Naruto's basically trying to. Uh, how can I put this? Naruto's basically trying to learn a couple things because him fighting just off of ice isn't really the best option. So with that, right? She won't. I said she. I mean, no, with that happening, right? Naruto won't really just be using ice. He practices a couple jutsus, but none of them work due to Kurama blocking off his chakra path and basically just not working together with Naruto. So as this is happening, Naruto realizes that he's the Nine-Tailed Jinchuriki. Well, he doesn't know that yet, but he does. He remembers hearing a strange voice that night when when quote unquote somebody killed all those villagers that he was basically getting beat up by. When he basically remembers hearing this voice saying, "You can't die." So he remembers that voice and says, "That voice, what was it?" So that's when Kurama said, "It was me." But at the time, Naruto didn't realize who or what this thing was. So Naruto basically taps into his mindscape for about like a minute, and then he sees this big cage with just this fox with a bunch of tails. To him, it's just a fox with a bunch of tails. So many tails. And so Kurama as Naruto's walking up to the cage, Kurama would proceed to basically try and slash Naruto, almost piercing him, but it didn't work. As the claw is inches away from Naruto's neck. So with this happening, Naruto would proceed to just stand there in terror. So basically, right, as this is happening, Naruto would say, "What are you?" And Kurama would proceed to say, "I am the nine-tailed fox." So as this is all happening, right, they see this figure. They basically see this figure in the what should I say? Alright, so they basically see this figure, right, in the shadows. So this figure appears to be no other than Minato Nazakata. So his father. So Naruto's like, "Who are you?" And then so Minato would proceed to say, "I'm your father, Naruto." So with that happening, Naruto, well, Kurama, I should say, Kurama holds a grudge against the Hokage, right? So so basically, Kurama would end up yelling, "Lord Fourth," and then basically, right? So everything happens just like in canon, where Naruto and Minato have this talk. But since Naruto's basically at the age of like what 7 now, he barely understands anything that's happening around him. So Naruto and Minato would proceed to talk, and basically Minato would take Naruto to somewhere else in another dimension. So with that happening, Naruto and Minato would basically proceed to basically just talk. So as they're talking, right, they would basically okay. So they would Minato would proceed to tell Naruto that he's his dad, and Naruto getting about what's happening, at least about a portion of it. Well, yeah, and then he's like, "That's where the ice came from." So none of you guys knew this, but because I didn't explain it in the first part of what if Naruto had ice release, but so basically, right, essentially what's about to happen here is that Minato is basically gonna be having ice release in this what if. So Minato will have ice release, so that's where Naruto will get it from. And as Minato is half Kage, um, let's see, what should be the clan name? Let's say that the clan name for Minato is Cloud. Yeah, Cloud. So basically, right? Mm, so basically, while Minato's basically 95% Cloud, but while um but while um but while my bad, I got sidetracked. But while he's just like 5% Nazakage and Uzumaki. So this would basically so he tells Naruto this. So Naruto getting mad about how Minato sealed the nine tails into his son and all the pain he's been through since he was first born. Minato would basically proceed. Well, Naruto would basically proceed to get angry and punch Minato in the stomach. And basically, with the force of Naruto's anger, because he covered his body in ice, Minato would proceed to cough out spit. And then, as he proceeds to cough out spit, Mm, Naruto's like, why would you seal the nine tails into your own son? And yeah, Naruto basically technically giving Minato a lecture about why he sealed the nine tails into his son. All the pain that he's been through these years, Hiruzen taking care of him, and with this happening, mm, basically, right? So, so Minato is basically telling Naruto he's sorry. This happening, right? So Minato would basically proceed to tell Naruto he's sorry, right? And then while this is going down, that's when Naruto says, "Oh, whatever." And Naruto says, "I'll forgive you this one time." And then Naruto asks, "Can you tell me about my mother?" So Minato basically proceeds to tell Naruto about his mother, Kushina, how she was the previous Nine-Tails Jinchuriki of Kurama. And this masked man basically unleashed the Nine-Tails on the whole village, right? So while all this is happening, bam, that's when they say that that's when they split ways and basically said goodbyes. So as Minato's disappearing into dust, I guess, and yeah, into dust basically. That's when Naruto is basically out of his mindscape. So basically, right, back to what I was saying. So as Naruto got out of his mindscape, right? So as Naruto got out his mindscape, he didn't really have any time to like think about what just happened. As that's when basically villagers basically run at Naruto, and all he sees is just angry villagers running at him because he basically had a scroll and he didn't return it. But Naruto didn't do anything wrong. All he did was borrow a scroll, and he was gonna return it anyway. So as this is happening, he runs into Hiruzen's office and says, "Hiruzen," and then Hiruzen's like, "I'll deal with it, Naruto." So as Hiruzen steps out his office, right? What basically proceeds to happen is Hiruzen basically tells all the villagers to back off. All Naruto did was grab a scroll. He was going to return it back anyway. And then that's when one of the villagers yelled out, as the store district, well, not the store district, but like basically the person who basically owns the districts would basically proceed to say he stole a scroll from us. He's gonna he's that the Nine Tails is gonna run wild again and destroy the village if he knows what's in that scroll. But that's not the case. As this is happening, Naruto is already reading the show, and he sees this thing called the multi-shadow clone jutsu. See, what's basically happening, right? See, okay, so y'all know how in the original Naruto would basically proceed to get tricked by Mizuki and steal the scroll of sealing? This isn't going to happen. Naruto's just going to be learning it the normal way. Alright, picture this. So, I decided to like make sure Mizuki was basically not in this with him. So, Mizuki, alright, say he's like doing some other stuff, shopping or whatever. So, Mizuki wasn't really, gonna trick anybody in this with him. But yeah, back to what I was saying. So, as this is all happening, basically, as this is all happening, Norris is already reading the scroll. And basically, right? So, as Norris is reading the scroll, he sees this jutsu called the multi-shadow clone jutsu. See, when it came to very little chakra, like techniques with very little chakra, Naruto was bad at using it. But when it came with techniques with just big amount of chakra display. Naruto, at this point, you can just call him a god at chakra control because this man just goes outside, right, and summons over 1,000 shadow clones of himself. And while this is all happening, the villagers in Hiruzen are basically are basically shocked by this. So with this happening, right? Basically, all the villagers will go home and so on and etc. So basically, right? So Naruto will proceed to go home as well, as tomorrow's the last day of the academy. And while this is happening, basically, right? Naruto would actually ask Hiruzen before he left to give him a scroll. Can he get a scroll to work on his body? So Hiruzen would do so, and basically Naruto would be working on his body the whole day. And with this happening, right? Naruto would proceed to go home, work on his body the whole entire day until nightfall, and then he goes to sleep. Then at that, it's the last day of the academy. Naruto gets dressed and everything, eats ramen, and basically goes to the academy. Aruka's like, I'm glad you all came, and blah, 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 and I'm so proud of you all, and etc. So, with this happening, they're basically redoing the same thing that they did at the first day of the academy, sparring and basically target practice, right? So as this is all happening, Naruto and Sasuke would proceed to basically, Naruto would hit about, since he's been training, Naruto would hit about, let's give him, Naruto would hit about four of the targets, while Sasuke would only hit at about three. Because the reason why Sasuke basically hit three targets was because he was angry at Naruto, like how strong he was, of how strong he was. So he was mad.